When my boss handed me an envelope with the chilling words, "Pack a bag, you have 24 hours," I thought it was some sort of practical joke. His expression, however, was stone cold, betraying no hint of amusement. I stared at him, the paper trembling in my hand, a wave of unease washing over me. For months, I had been an ordinary employee in a quiet office, following routines, paying bills, and keeping my life comfortably predictable. Nothing in my past suggested that my world was about to be turned upside down in ways I could never have imagined. I placed the envelope on my desk, feeling its weight. It was heavier than normal paper, almost like it contained something more substantial. My boss didn't offer any explanation, and I knew better than to push for one. There was a tension in the air that made my skin crawl, a subtle warning that whatever lay inside this envelope was not ordinary. Back at my apartment, I sat on the edge of my bed and carefully tore it open. Inside, I found a set of documents, photographs, and a small USB drive. The photographs were strange. Pictures of places I didn't recognize, people I didn't know, and my own face. I had never seen that camera, that angle. I dropped the photographs, heart hammering in my chest. My reflection in the dim light of my apartment seemed strange, almost unfamiliar, as if someone else had been living my life all along. The documents were even more confusing. Legal papers, financial statements, and letters written in handwriting that was both familiar and foreign. Names I had never heard before, references to events that had never occurred, or at least I thought they hadn't. My hand shook as I plugged the USB drive into my laptop. A single file appeared, a video time-stamped exactly 24 hours ago. I pressed play. The screen flickered to life, revealing a dimly lit room I didn't recognize. A voice spoke, calm yet urgent. "If you are watching this, it means you are about to embark on something far bigger than you ever imagined. You are in danger, but you are also the only one who can uncover the truth. Everything you thought you knew about your life is a lie. The clock is ticking. Follow the instructions carefully and trust no one." My heart raced. I replayed the video, trying to absorb every word. It was impossible to ignore the weight of the message. Someone, or something, was orchestrating events behind the scenes, and somehow, I was at the center of it all. The next morning, I packed a bag, clothes, toiletries, my laptop, a few personal items. I didn't know where I was going or what I would find, but I knew I couldn't ignore the call. The envelope had marked a point of no return. At exactly 24 hours from when I had received the message, a car pulled up outside my apartment. The driver handed me a folded note. "Follow the route, do not look back." The ride was long and silent, the city passing by in a blur of lights and shadows. My mind raced with questions. Who was orchestrating this? Why me? And what did the photographs, the documents, the video all mean? When the car finally stopped, I found myself in front of an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. Inside, the air was cold and smelled faintly of rust and dust. A single light bulb flickered overhead. And then I saw him, or rather, her. A woman, tall and imposing, dressed in a black coat, sat at a table. She gestured for me to sit. "You have questions," she said, her voice measured, almost clinical. "And I have answers. But first, you need to understand the truth about your life. You are not who you think you are."
I laughed nervously, trying to mask my fear. I don't understand." She slid a folder across the table. Inside were more documents, birth certificates, passports, financial records, all belonging to me, but with crucial differences. Different memes, different locations, even a different date of birth. She explained that my life, as I knew it, was fabricated. I had been part of a witness protection program as a child, though I had no memory of it. My parents were involved in classified work, and certain enemies had wanted to ensure my safety by giving me a new identity. It was overwhelming. Every memory I had of my ordinary life suddenly seemed like a shadow, a carefully constructed illusion. The photographs I had seen in the envelope were pieces of a puzzle I had never known existed. And now, at 24 years old, the truth had finally caught up with me. "I know this is a lot," she said, "but your journey isn't over. There are people who want you silenced. The contents of that envelope were just the beginning. You have to uncover the rest before it's too late." The next few days were a blur of information and training. She taught me how to read encrypted messages, track movements, and identify threats. Each new skill felt like a lifeline, giving me tools to navigate the treacherous path ahead. And then there were the betrayals. Friends I had trusted, colleagues who had smiled at me every day. They weren't who they seemed. Every corner of my life had been monitored, every conversation analyzed. Trust became a luxury I could no longer afford. One evening, alone in my apartment, I discovered a hidden compartment behind a bookshelf. Inside, a small journal awaited me. The pages were filled with meticulous handwriting, a mix of personal thoughts and coded instructions. As I read, I realized it was written by my mother. She had anticipated that one day I would need to find it. The journal contained secrets about my family, about enemies who had never stopped searching for me, and clues that would lead me to the ultimate truth. Following the clues led me across the city into abandoned subway tunnels, forgotten libraries, and safe houses. Each step revealed more about my family's past, the danger that had always lurked in the shadows, and my own potential to confront it. The deeper I went, the more I understood that the life I had once considered ordinary was extraordinary in ways I could never have imagined. Then came the confrontation. In a secluded warehouse by the river, I faced the person who had orchestrated the lies, the manipulation, and the threats. It was someone I had trusted implicitly, someone I had considered a friend. The betrayal cut deeper than any danger I had faced before. Words were exchanged, accusations thrown, but in the end, truth prevailed. I uncovered the network of deception, exposed their motives, and ensured that the danger to me and my family was eliminated. When it was over, I stood on the rooftop of the warehouse, looking at the city lights below. The journey had been exhausting, terrifying, and surreal. I had confronted the lies of my past, faced betrayal, and discovered truths I never thought possible. The envelope, the message, the 24 hours, it had all led me here, to a place of understanding and transformation. I realized that life is rarely as simple as it seems. Sometimes one small action, receiving a mysterious envelope, following a cryptic instruction, can alter the course of everything. And while the journey had been harrowing, it had also given me something invaluable: the knowledge of who I truly was, the courage to face betrayal, and the clarity to transform my life moving forward. In the days that followed, I took stock of what had happened. I reconnected with the few people I could trust, severed ties with those who had deceived me, and began to rebuild a life grounded in truth rather than illusion. Each morning, I woke with the memory of that envelope, a reminder of how fragile and fleeting our sense of normalcy can be. Yet, despite the chaos, I felt empowered. The secrets I had uncovered, the betrayals I had endured, and the truths I had embraced had forged a new version of myself, resilient, aware, and ready to face whatever the world might throw my way. Looking back now, I understand that the envelope wasn't just a warning, it was a catalyst. A single message had set off a chain of events that would change my life forever, exposing the shadows, unveiling the secrets, and ultimately leading me to transformation. Life is unpredictable. Some messages we receive are ordinary, some carry weight, but rarely do we imagine that one small piece of paper could unravel our entire existence. And yet, in that unraveling, there is clarity. In facing the unknown, there is strength. And in uncovering truth, there is freedom. The envelope, now tucked away in a drawer, serves as both a relic and a reminder. A relic of the fear, the suspense, the betrayal, and the incredible journey I embarked upon. A reminder that life can change in an instant, that truths can be hidden in the most unlikely places, and that transformation is possible for anyone brave enough to confront what lies beneath the surface. I often think about the moment I first held that envelope, trembling in my hands, unsure of what to do next. If I had ignored it, if I had chosen the comfort of routine over the uncertainty of truth, I would have remained blind to the forces shaping my life. Instead, I embraced the journey, followed the message, and discovered that the person I was meant to be had been waiting to emerge all along. And so I live now with a heightened sense of awareness, a careful respect for the unexpected, and a readiness for whatever surprises the world might deliver next. The envelope didn't just change my life, it revealed the extraordinary within the ordinary and taught me that sometimes the smallest messages carry the greatest power.